if you want to go into 2020 and you want to be sitting where I am right now saying 2020 was the best year of my life, next year, if you want to be saying that at this time, 2021 was the best year of my life, the piece of advice that I can give you is be savage in your pursuit of personal integrity and personal alignment, and be willing to take the machete to anything and everything that is not serving your highest and best good.
This is Leah Steele. Welcome to the Wealth Witch podcast. Just a few years ago, I experienced complete financial collapse. We lost a business, our home, and a car. My husband was selling plasma to pay for diapers and formula. I was living a life I hated, and I was miserable. It was the lowest part of my life. It ended up being my biggest blessing. Just a few short years later, I've designed the life of my dreams. I live a life of luxury in beautiful Bali, Indonesia, travel the world, and spend my days helping others manifest wealth and abundance. Living a purpose-led life changed everything for me. This podcast is about my journey, my top tips and tools for manifestation, and interviews with all the amazing, world-changing, inspiring people I meet along the way. Welcome to my world.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Wealth Witch podcast. I am your host, Leah Steele, the Wealth Witch. Wow, so we are heading into the last few weeks of 2020, and what a year it has been. I wanted to come on today and talk a little bit about life, really, and what happens when we are faced with challenges and difficulties and obstacles, because we always will be faced with those things. And you hear me talk a lot about transitioning and moving into the new timeline and existing in higher vibrational states of being. And I want to be really clear that that doesn't mean that life doesn't happen. It doesn't mean that we don't get frustrated and that we don't get pissed off and that things don't go our way, and that we aren't constantly given opportunities for growth in the guise of obstacles, challenges, roadblocks. And so, I think that the thing that makes the difference for me anyway, this last week I've had some really challenging things that have come up in one of my businesses, not the Leah Steele brand, but in another one of my businesses. And for a few days, it brought me down into a lower vibrational state, and I was really frustrated and I was really upset. And, I don't think that I entered into victim mentality, but I was definitely letting the obstacle or the challenge dictate my vibrational state. And, I think because I've done so much of this work within short order, which was basically a couple of days, I got disgusted with myself and was like, wow, you know better than this. No matter what this thing is, no matter how difficult the challenge is, no matter how huge the obstacle seems, no matter how much in the moment of the thing that is so difficult that you can't ever imagine being able to be on the other side of it, you will be. And it is my 100% knowing that we are given the biggest blessings on the other side of challenges and obstacles. Literally, the thing that happened to me that up until that point was the very worst thing that had ever happened to me. Losing my business, losing $3 million, ending up $1 million in debt, losing a house, losing a car, being 3 hours away from being homeless, my husband having to sell plasma to pay for diapers and formula. I can look back now today and beyond a shadow of a doubt say that that is the very best thing that has ever happened to me in my life, because it gave me the opportunity to step fully into purpose, which then gave me the opportunity to be wildly financially abundant and compensated doing the work that I love in the world. That then enabled me to make greater and greater impact, which then enabled me to be here talking to you on this podcast. And I can look back over my life and say the same of every other situation that seemed like it was the worst thing that had ever happened to me. And that knowingness that the universe just continues to deliver me blessings when I show up and meet the challenges, that is the thing I think that enables me to just show up every day and face anything, no matter what it is. And in fact, say, oh, you've got a challenge for me, you've got an obstacle for me, you've got something difficult for me, bring it on. Because I know on the other side of that is going to be an incredible, incredible blessing. And so, as we're leaving 2020, which, for me has been the best year of my life, but I know for many people has been the most challenging year of their lives, I'd really just ask you, how do you want to end this year? Because we have a few more weeks, and even though the year may have been challenging, and even though it may have been difficult, and even though right now you might be listening to this podcast and you may not be able to see the sky through the trees, you might feel like you're drowning, you might feel like there is no hope, I'm here to tell you that there is. And how you make it outside of the forest, and how you make it through these challenging times, and how you make it through any challenging time in your life, is to bring yourself back into integrity and alignment. And so I would love for you to look at, what are the things in your life that are out of alignment right now? Where are you doing things that you know aren't in your highest and best good? Where are you allowing yourself to be controlled and manipulated? Who are you allowing yourself to be controlled and manipulated by? Taking a really hard look at those things over the next few weeks, and then taking real inspired action to shift out of those relationships and out of those situations into relationships and into situations that are in the utmost integrity for you, is going to make a huge change as to how 2020 is going to look. So if you want to go into 2020 and you want to be sitting where I am right now saying 2020 was the best year of my life, next year, if you want to be saying that at this time, 2021 was the best year of my life, the piece of advice that I can give you is be savage in your pursuit of personal integrity and personal alignment, and be willing to take the machete to anything and everything that is not serving your highest and best good. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy path to take, because we are human beings, and our nature is to stay in things a lot longer than we should usually, to allow ourselves to compromise our values for the sake of other people's feelings. And it isn't worth it in the long run, because it prohibits us from growing, but it also prohibits the other person from growing. Because if you're allowing somebody to control and manipulate you, not only is that not in your highest and best good, but it's not in their highest and best good either. And the same goes for relationships that maybe are not being controlled and manipulated, but they don't make you feel your best. They don't put you into a high vibrational state when you're interacting with that person. And really, life is too short. Life is too short to be just getting by, to be just surviving, to be just hanging out with people that make you feel okay, but the relationships are nothing special. You are so worthy and so deserving of having epic relationships in your life, of having an epic life, period. But you can't have that if you are not willing to do the hard work and face the hard things to get your life back into alignment. If you are not willing to be savage in the pursuit of a life that is divinely aligned. Hey, I hope you're enjoying this episode of the Wealth Witch podcast. I wanted to take a quick break to talk to you about an amazing offer I have to work with me like my high-end clients do for a fraction of the investment. If there's anything that the last several months of chaos and change has showed us, it's that our perceptions of what is safe, stable, and secure is anything but. You are your guarantee. You are the key to unlocking and calling in the wealth that you desire. If you don't already know, I'm all about belief and intention, and for me, deciding is the most important action you can take. so I don't need to convince you. You'll either resonate with this or not. The only prerequisite that you need to have is a desire to change your current financial reality. This mastermind I'm about to tell you about is about empowering you to take back control of your financial destiny and take action towards creating the life that you deeply desire. The Wealth Alchemy Mastermind is hosted via the Telegram app, and I've set it up in a way that it's accessible. This is an incredible opportunity to work with me in this mastermind at a special pre-launch rate of $44 a month. Yes, you heard that right. Just $44 a month to work with me at the same level that some of my high-end clients do. So what do you get? Weekly exclusive content and training, a monthly Zoom coaching call, a monthly Q&A session, wealth paradigm downloads, wealth activations, and a mastermind chat full of like-minded community. You aren't doing this mastermind for the content. You're doing it for the transmissions, period. You will be activated with abundance just by being in this container. But you have to act fast. The pre-launch offer is only available for a limited time, so click the link in the description of the podcast and sign up now. I'd love for you to join me, so do the thing. Now back to the podcast. For me, this month is about making some hard decisions when it comes to all of my business endeavors. Luckily, I don't have to do it with my friendships because I am really, really savage already in only hanging out with and only surrounding myself with people that put me in high vibrational states. And so luckily for me this year, I don't have to reevaluate my relationships, but I do have to evaluate some things that are happening in my businesses, including, people filling certain roles in my businesses and me spending time doing things that I don't want to be spending time doing anymore. Because as I look to 2021, I see another year that gets to be the best year of my life. But I know that it only gets to be that if I fully commit to myself and to my vision of living next year in divine alignment. I live my life this way, and it's what has gotten me to the place that I am today, is that continual commitment to connecting to God, source, universe, all that is, whatever you call it, cultivating my connection to source, cultivating my connection to my higher self, my divine immortal soul, and really, really being committed to following the divine guidance that's given to me, and then immediately taking inspired action. And so that is what creates this life that you see. That is what creates this life where I get to sit here and say 2020 has been the best year of my life. When for, I would say the majority of the world, it's been fucked. And it's interesting when I talk about that because sometimes I think like, should I feel bad about saying that? Should I feel bad about saying that 2020 has been the best year of my life when so many people have been struggling and suffering? And at the end of the day, I just come back to no, I'm not going to feel bad about it because I've worked very hard to get here. I work very hard at minding my mind and minding my mouth and cultivating my connection to source and, putting myself in vibrational states that I'm able to actually hear the divine guidance that's coming from my soul and that's coming from source. And I've developed the dedication and the discipline and the devotion to myself and my personal practices that allow me to be able to take inspired action. And so I don't feel bad because I've worked to get here, and my life and my external landscape is a direct result of my rituals and how I cultivate my inner landscape. And it can be the same for you. Absolutely. So take this time over the next few weeks and decide what it is that you want to cultivate in 2021, what it is that you want to call in 2021. And be savage in the pursuit of that. Be relentless in the pursuit of that. Be dedicated and disciplined and devotional to yourself because you are worthy of being here a year from now saying 2021 was the best year of your life. But nobody else can create that reality for you. You are the most powerful creator in your reality. And as a result of that, you are the only one that can create that reality for you. And too often, I think, we project outwards and we look externally for what's going to make us happy, or what's going to help us make money, or what's going to improve our relationship, when the truth is that all of the answers are inside. You already have all of the answers that you need to live your very best life. You just need to learn to tap into that place, and you have to become disciplined, and you have to call yourself on your bullshit. And when you start to get into those low vibrational states, you've got to be willing to pull yourself up on that. You've got to be willing to look at what's out of alignment. And even if it's painful, and even if you don't want to do it, and even if it hurts, to take a machete to those parts of your life that are not in alignment, and to cut them out swiftly and deftly, and, be willing to feel the loss and the grief that comes with that, but to feel it with a knowing that your best life is waiting for you on the other side of those decisions. So this was a brief one today, but it really felt like an important message to share with you. We have an incredible, incredible astrological occurrence coming up here in the next several days, which is the Great Conjunction, where we are moving into the age of Aquarius, and Saturn moves into Aquarius on December 17th. And that day, I am doing a very, very special activation that I would love for you to join me for. And so we will put the link to that in the description of the podcast. But that transition of Saturn from Capricorn into Aquarius marks the beginning of the age of Aquarius, which is this next beautiful 240-year cycle, where we are going to have this incredible opportunity to step into a life that is about unity consciousness and the rise of the collective. But we do that from a place of sovereignty. And that's really what this activation is going to be about. The 17th is activating sovereignty and activating your ability to do just what I've been talking about in this podcast episode, which is to be savage in the pursuit of divine alignment in your life, and to give you a little bit of a lot probably of an activation to allow you to tap into those parts of yourself that are your inner warrior, that will stand up for you in that way, and that will step proudly into 2021 claiming the life that you deeply desire and that you're so deserving of. So remember, it's your divine birthright to be wealthy in all areas of your life. And you are so worthy and you are so deserving. And I hope to see you on the activation.
If you don't have your shit right, 2021's coming for you straight savage. Coming for you straight savage. Straight savage.
We all want to be living our heaven on earth experiences. We all want to be creating the life that we are wildly passionate about, a life that fills us up, that we wake up every day and we're like, I'm so glad I chose to incarnate as a human being on planet Earth.
You have to work. You have to be willing to work. This isn't easy. You hear me say it over and over and over again. You have to work. You have to work. You have to be willing to work. You've got to take that inspired action. It starts right now. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
This is the divine guidance. This is the divine guidance. It's coming through for you right now, okay? Get clarity.
Savage.
Requesting and demanding divine guidance.
Straight savage.
And taking inspired action and showing up and doing the things.
Savage.
Requesting and demanding divine guidance.
Straight savage.
Showing up and doing the things and doing the work. God, source, universe, all that is, whatever it is that you call it, didn't intend for you to be here a fucking blubbering mess all the time. Didn't intend for you to get hijacked by your fucking process every time you decide you want to grow and expand. And let me tell you something else. You are already embodied. You live in a fucking human body, okay? That you actually are a divine immortal soul. You just happen to be taking a ride in this meat vehicle. You get to be both. You get to be immortal and you get to be human. And don't forget, life is about self-mastery. Where is your own inner compass?
Figure out what your fucking purpose work is in this world and go do that thing. Savage. Come on, folks. Do the thing. Straight savage. Tap into your own inner stream of consciousness. Savage. Connect to source. Connect to God. Whatever it is that you call it. Savage. You are not a mess. You don't have to fall apart, right? You're fucking human. And you're a divine immortal soul. Inspire yourself to be and do better.
That's a wrap. Thank you for joining me. Remember, wealth is a mindset, and you absolutely deserve to live the life you deeply desire. And with belief and intention, you create your reality. Until next time, this is Leah Steele, the Wealth Witch.